begin.
Okay. Well, good evening. This is a regularly scheduled meeting for the Wilmette Historic Preservation Commission. I call this meeting to order at 3:59. Ms. McManus, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Commissioner Fogarty,
Here.
Commissioner Furness,
Here.
Commissioner Corbett,
Present.
Commissioner Daspy,
Present.
Commissioner Harmon,
Here.
and Commissioner Parikh is absent. And then Chairman Hutchinson.
Here. Okay, thank you. This meeting is being conducted remotely via Microsoft Teams. For those watching this video in the future, the state of Illinois is currently under a stay-at-home order issued by Governor J.B. Pritzker due to the coronavirus global pandemic. As a result, all in-person governmental meetings have been canceled. However, the state has suspended the Open Meetings Act to permit electronic meetings of government bodies like the Historic Preservation Commission. And tonight, we are conducting our business in compliance with the guidelines from the state. This meeting is being broadcast live on our local cable access channel 6. It is also broadcast on the internet on YouTube Live, and the URL for that is www.youtube.com/user/villageofwilmette/live. If you'd like to participate in the meeting, that's the place where you need to go to watch it, not just Channel 6. This meeting will be archived on the Village's website, as we do with our other televised public meetings. To ensure that our residents and our other interested parties have the opportunity to participate in this meeting, we have solicited public comments prior to the start of this meeting via email. If you sent an email to comdev@wilmette.com prior to the start of this meeting, our staff will read the email during the public comment portion of our agenda. If members of the public who are watching the broadcast would like to participate during our designated public comment periods, you may submit your comments through YouTube Live at the appropriate time, and a member of the village staff will read your comments to the Historic Preservation Commission. All comments to the commission will be recorded in the meeting minutes, as we typically do. For those of you new to our proceedings, the purpose of this commission is to hear evidence on applications for certificates of appropriateness and designations for local landmarks. Based on the evidence we hear this evening, we will make a recommendation to the Village Board of Trustees as to whether the applicants that come before us this evening should be granted or denied. The case we shall hear this evening are set forth in the agenda. After the applicant has had a chance to speak and the commission has asked any questions, we will open the meeting for public testimony. After we have heard all oral presentations, I will close the evidence and the members of the commission will discuss what they have heard and take a vote. Please note that all votes must be done on roll call. Once the evidence is closed, no further testimony on any application may be offered. The only people entitled to speak during that part of the proceeding will be the members of the commission. This meeting is a legal proceeding, and all testimony tonight must be given under oath. If you are here and planning to testify tonight, I would ask that you raise your right hand at this time and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that you will tell the truth in this testimony that you are about to give? If so, please say, "I do."
I do.
I do.
Or me. I want to.
Fantastic. Okay, I believe the first agenda item is the consideration of a request for local landmark designation at 735 Michigan Avenue, the Bateman House. Case number 2021 HPC 01. And who is here to speak on that behalf?
I will actually introduce the petition. The homeowner is on the call though, so if the commission has any follow-up questions or comments, they are available. 735 Michigan is being nominated under 3 criteria. Criteria 2 for a significant architect. It was originally designed by F.E. Davidson, but the remodel was done in 1919 by Meyer Sturm, a significant architect mainly for institutional designs. But he did have his own home in Wilmette at 1111 Broadway. And then he was commissioned to do this redesign in 1919. It's also being recommended under Criterion 4 for its link to a significant person. Floyd Bateman was locally significant as a businessman, prominent in manufacturing. And then finally, we're recommending it for significant in architecture, specifically for this 1919 remodel in the Prairie style. Kind of a unique example. Obviously, it was designed as a four-square, completely changed a few years after its date of construction. So the commission is going to be looking at it really for its significance as that 1919 design.
Thank you. Commissioners, are there any questions you might have regarding this property?
Can I raise my hand?
have a comment. Go ahead.
Am I on mute? Probably I am. Oh dear.
We can hear you.
Okay, good, good. I was just wondering, what year was the coach house built?
I believe, and the owner can jump in if I'm incorrect, but the coach house was built at the time that the house was constructed.
Okay.
So around that 1911 date, which is why it's still reminiscent of that four-square style, where the house itself is, in the 1919 Prairie style. So the coach house and the main house would have been built around the same time.
And were the columns in front then built as part of that addition, and then picking up the designs at the tops, at the capitals of those columns to match the front of the house?
That I don't know. Mary, if you're on the call, I don't know. You're talking about at the corners of the lots, the columns, the walls. I don't know if those were original to the four-square construction in 1911 or if those were put in later. They do appear to be consistent with the materials from the four-square design, so they might be original. But Mary, Shay, if you're on the call and you have any additional information, feel free to jump in.
You can unmute. Am I
You are.
am I unmuted?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, I believe the markers are original to probably the remodeling in 1918, but they're all of a piece, and I think the coach house was as well.
And I did want to add, and this was in the report, but the coach house and the walls are part of the landmark nomination. So the wall, if it's approved by the commission, the walls, the coach house, and the main house would all be protected.
And the portico.
Correct, yes.
I had a question just around the Prairie style and the portico. Does anyone know, is that kind of indicative of that time? Was the portico started around the Prairie style era, or I don't know? I don't know the history.
A porte cochere would be consistent. That's what that is. So the porte cochere is the covered
Right.
on the side of the home. Yes, that's something that is found in some Prairie style homes. You can certainly find Prairie style homes without a porte cochere, but it is consistent with that style of architecture in that time period.
Thanks.
It makes it easier to get in and out of carriages or whatever when you move the house, the entrance to the side. So that's like a benefit to putting after you put on the side.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Or any other? Is there any public comments on this this issue?
We did receive one email. It was sent to the homeowner and I was copied on the email. So I'm going to just read it, quote the direct email. This is from Susan Benjamin. She's a historic preservation consultant based in Highland Park. She's done a lot of National Register nominations, landmark nominations. So she's a preservationist by trade. She says, "Dear Mary and everyone, I am so glad that you are nominating your beautiful home as a Wilmette landmark. Your house is very unusual and extremely architecturally significant, as you know. I recall showcasing its transformation when I gave a PowerPoint on the lakefront for the Wilmette Historical Society a handful of years ago. It is such an important Wilmette house to preserve. Kudos to you."
Excellent. I would say that I do love this house. I walk past it often. It's a beautiful representation of the Prairie style, as far as I'm concerned. It's clearly not a Frank Lloyd Wright, I think, but it's from that same era. And I honestly didn't know the Coach House. And when seeing the picture now, seeing it's clearly a classic Foursquare, I think makes it even better. Even a stronger nomination to having these two styles on the same lot. They're representing the old and then the remodel, which is just fantastic. The fact that the remodel was done by the original owner, I think, is great as well. Just a beautiful house all around.
I think it's also significant having a property that has all of these pieces together as one sort of complete package. Provides you an opportunity to see this transformation over time between the original and going into the Prairie style. And I think the house also has characteristics of, frankly, a more international style to it. When you look at the back of the property, it's got a really great sense of proportion to it that sort of pulls in a variety of the different design elements and aesthetics that were happening around the world at that time, and is really unique because of that.
Bob, you're muted. Make sure your microphone is on.
Right. I'm frequently walk my dog in Gilson, and I just by coincidence parked my car basically right in front of this house. And so I've been seeing it many, many times over the last couple of years, and have often thought I had hoped that had considered maybe even introducing this to the commission as a house that should be under consideration for landmarking. And so I'm very pleased that the owners have done that. It's a terrific house.
I've walked by it a lot too, so I've seen it from the street level, walking by it many, many times. As I mentioned earlier, if I'm citing this correctly, I think we're across the street from the oldest tree in Wilmette that came down a few years ago. But it was just, it's not a nice situation with the park opposite it. You must have great views and enjoy it. So yeah, I think it's great.
It's spectacular. For the last 6 months, I've been walking by, so doing a lot of walking. So, and it certainly is lovely, and it's a great lot, and just a wonderful property.
Okay, if there's no other comments or questions from the commission, I will entertain a motion to approve the proposal as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Seeing there's a motion and a second to accept as presented. Kate, would you please call the roll for a vote?
Yes. Commissioner Fogarty?
Approve.
Commissioner Furness?
Aye.
Commissioner Daspy?
Aye.
Commissioner Corbett?
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon?
Aye.
And Chairman Hutchinson?
Yes, absolutely approve. Okay, well, thank you very much for submitting this to us, and we will pass this recommendation on to the village board for their final approval on this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Okay, the next item is for consideration of a request for certificate of appropriateness for the installation and replacement of cellular antenna and tuck porting on the local landmark at 1215 Washington Avenue. The snow ice permafrost case number 2021. And who do we have to speak on this application?
Hi, that will be Amanda and I who will be speaking on behalf of this.
Fantastic. And what can you tell us about what we have going on at the permafrost building?
So for this, we are trying to apply for a building permit. T-Mobile is planning to do some removal and addition of the antennas that already exist there and some of the additional equipment that's located on the smokestack.
Okay.
I'll come in here with a little bit more of a specific scope of work. 3 existing antennas that are installed at a center line of 62 feet will be removed and replaced with shorter antennas. We're also looking to install 3 remote radio units. They're about 50 pounds apiece. They're smaller boxes. Those will be located underneath the existing antennas that are located at the center line of 54 feet. As part of the proposal, that there are some repairs that need to happen. And so we included some documentation in regards to the chimney inspection. I believe the post-tension bands will likely be of interest. Those will also be installed. There's 5 new bands that are proposed to be installed, and all new equipment that will be installed will be painted to match what's currently existing. Happy to answer any other questions.
I'm sorry, those bands are in the exterior?
That's correct. They are on the smokestack, and there are 5 different levels where new bands need to be installed.
I had just a curiosity question about the address of the property, because God knows I've passed it 1,000 times but didn't look. But I see that it has 2 pedestrian entrances. One has an address of 1215 and the other 1217. So I presume the request is for the entire building. So is the legal address of the property 1215 Washington?
That is a good question. I do believe we have used 1215 based on the original permit that was issued to us.
$1215 is identified as the address on the Village Historic and Architectural Survey data sheet.
Yeah, I don't know the history of, I don't know if another address was added at a later point, but for our reference, we're looking at the entire building. 1215 Washington is what the landmark property is. So I would just consider, that one single building for our review.
Okay, thank you.
In the description of the work, you're identifying some tuck pointing that's going to be done. I assume that there's going to be color matching done to have the new mortar blend in with the existing.
That's correct. I do believe we have some notes included in the construction drawings to make sure that happens. Great.
Yeah, I didn't see the identification of the mortar type is identified, but nothing with regard to color matching is identified in the notes on the sheet A2.
And I might suggest, if the commission has concerns on that, that's something, it could be a condition of approval that the testing color matching be done, prior to the tuck pointing, and that's something that we would work with the petitioner on to verify that's done before the work is complete, if that's something that the petitioner is in agreement with, and if the commission is comfortable with that, that's something we could add to the certificate of appropriateness.
Are there any other questions from the commission regarding this application? Okay, Kate, do we have any public comments regarding this application?
No, we do not have any comments or questions submitted via email.
Okay, with there being no more questions or comments from the commission, and there being no public comments, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness as submitted, as long as the village is willing to work to ensure that the mortar color matches the existing mortar with the building.
Second.
And I'm sorry, I missed the first. Who made the motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I'm sorry. Who made the motion?
I did.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I second and.
Okay, thank you. All right, and I'll do a
All right,
quick
there
roll
being
then.
a motion. If you could make there being a motion and a second, Kate, if you could make a roll call for the vote, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Fogarty,
Approve.
Commissioner Furness,
Aye.
Commissioner Daspy,
Aye.
Commissioner Corbett,
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon,
Aye.
and Chairman Hutchinson.
Aye. Fantastic. Next order on the agenda would be approval of the minutes from the meeting on December 10th, 2020. It was given to us in our packet. Does anybody have any changes or comments regarding the minutes from our Thursday, December 10th, 2020 meeting? If there are none, is there a motion to approve as submitted?
I move to approve.
Second.
A motion that is seconded. Ms. McManus, if you would please take a roll call vote for that.
Commissioner Fogarty,
Approve.
Commissioner Furness,
Since I wasn't present, I should probably abstain from that, from the vote.
Commissioner Daspy,
Aye.
Commissioner Corbett,
Approve.
Commissioner Harmon,
Abstain.
and Chairman Hutchinson.
Vote to approve. Okay, well, that concludes our meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission.
Sorry to interrupt. We do need to take agenda item number 5 as public comment. Just if there's, I know there are a number of people on the call, so I just want to make sure no one from the public has any additional comments or questions on any matters.
My apologies, you're correct. As usual. Are there any comments or questions or concerns from the public at large? We'd love to hear it.
And there are no additional comments submitted via YouTube, so as long as nobody jumps in, I think we can move forward with the agenda.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for their hard work on the commission. I want to thank our building owners and homeowners for their hard work as well. And at this point, I would like to entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Fogarty,
Aye.
Commissioner Furness,
Aye.
Commissioner Daspy,
Aye.
Commissioner Corbett,
Yes.
Commissioner Harmon,
Aye.
and Chairman Hutchinson.
Aye. All right, thank you, everybody. And please, now that we have indoor dining back, if you feel comfortable doing it, please patronize one of our wonderful restaurants. If not, carry-out options and deliveries are always available. We'd love to have you help support our local businesses. Thank you very much.
Thank you.